comparative perspective of Karl Marx, Durkheim, and Max Weber. Right. We discussed about these. We discussed about Karl Marx, Emil Durkheim, and Max Weber in detail. A quick recap of Karl Marx, Weber, and Durkheim. Karl Marx. Karl Marx is a renowned sociologist. He is known as a materialistic sociologist. According to him, material is the material of each and every activity. That's why he is known as materialistic sociologist. He has given much emphasis on material. Right? According to him, this is because of the material. There are two classes in the society. He studied about various societies like slave society, right? Then the feudal society, and then the capitalistic society. In each and every society, there were two classes, and these classes are found because of the material. Those who owns the production, right? They are known as a capitalist or the master class, and those who don't own the mode of production, they are known as workers. Material, there are two classes, and a day will come when there will be no classes. It will be a classless society, and he called this classless society as communism, right? Emil Durkheim has emphasis on this society, right? It is because of the efforts of Emil Durkheim we are able to study the sociology as a subject, as a discipline, right? He discussed about profane and sacred, right? According to him, society is one which is worshipable, and there are two types of solidarities which are required. These are the organic mechanical solidarity and the organic solidarity. According to Durkheim, individual is not important, but society in whole is important. It is very important that there should be solidarity in the society to maintain the social order. Why he has given much emphasis on the society? Because according to him, if there is a solidarity among the individuals of the society, it will help to maintain the social order. It will not create chaos in the society. So he has given much emphasis on the society, right? He discussed about the mechanical solidarity and the organic solidarity. He discussed about the various types of the societies and the reasons for this society. He has given the concept of division of labor. What is division of labor, and why division of labor is important? He has divided the society into two forms: simple society and complex society. Simple society is that society in which the skill set of all individuals are similar types. They are dependent on each other because of certain factors, like certain cultural factors, because of the feeling of we, right? And this solidarity, where people are binded together because is mechanical solidarity. Organic solidarity in complex modern society, because of the division of labor, right? The skill set of each and every individual differs from the other, and they are dependent and on each other, and because of their dependence on each other, they are binded together, and this is required to maintain the social order. And this type of a binding, when they are dependent on each other, that is known as the organic solidarity, right? While Weber is very eminent sociologist, right? He has given much emphasis on the individual. He has given the concept of interactive symbolism, right? According to him, individual is more important than the society, and it is very important that rather than studying the society objectively, we should study the society subjectively. We should understand the action and the reason behind the action which individual takes, right? So that Weber has given much emphasis on the individual and interaction. It has given importance to the interaction symbolism, right? According to Weber, it is very important that one should understand the action, the reason behind the action, interpret it according to the situation. That action could differ, the meaning of the action could differ in various situations. So it is very important that one should understand all these things, right? Next is now let us compare and contrast the work and the thoughts of Marx, Durkheim, and Weber. Right. First of all, let us compare between Weber and Durkheim. Durkheim stresses the exteriority of social fact, which he regarded as things. Yes, we discussed about the social facts. According to Durkheim, what are social facts? He considered the social fact as a thing which can be studied exteriorly or objectively, right? There are certain phenomenons, right? And he termed them as a social fact, and we can study those facts objectively, right? According to Durkheim, society is sui generis. It exists over and above the individual. That he has given much emphasis on the society rather than the individual. Society imposes certain constraint in order to make the individual part of it, right? Weber focuses on the role of individual as an actor, orienting their behavior pattern in terms of values and beliefs. Yes, as I told you that he has emphasized, or he has given much importance to the social actions, symbolic interaction of an individual, and according to him, that action should be studied in the terms of values and beliefs of that individual or that society, and there could be more than one meaning of that action that varies from context to context. So rather than the society, according to Weber, individual is important, while Durkheim said society is more important than the individual. It is the task of sociologists to study these through Varsthane, or interpretative understanding. Varsthane means interpretative understanding. That it is the that what why an individual behaves in a certain way in a certain situation. It is the responsibility of the sociologist to interpret and to study that action thoroughly, right? That is that he has given the term Varsthane. Varsthane means interpretative understanding, that one should understand the action and interpret it according to the situation or the context, right? That is understanding. He has given much emphasis on the symbolic interactions. Unit of analysis. Okay, before we study about the religion, let us discuss few things about the religion from the Durkheim's perspective, as well as the Weber's perspective. We discussed that Durkheim has given much emphasis on the religion. He studied about the religion, and according to him, he studied the elementary form of the religion. That is the he discussed about the totem. He discussed about the profane and sacred. Sacred is which is pure, and profane is which is prohibited, right? That is sacred, right? And according to him, that according to Durkheim, the religion helps in maintaining the social order, and it is the shared ideas and the feeling, right? So while Weber studied the modern religion, right? He studied about the Hindu religion, Buddhist. He studied Buddhism. He studied Confucianism and other Chinese religion. He was a Christian, so he studied Christians, right? So Emile Durkheim studies religion as its most elementary form. He studied the religion in its most elementary form, right? And ideas are held in common by all individual, and there is an intensity of shared ideas and feelings. According to Durkheim, that religion is but the shared feelings and religion and clan organizations overlap. There is an overlapping between the religion and clan. Durkheim emphasizes the role of religion as a collective phenomenon which serves to strengthen the social bond. According to Durkheim, religion helps in binding the people together, right? It strengthen the bond between the people. It is because of the common ideas, values and beliefs these religion bind the people together, and this religion helps in solidarity, right? This binds the people together, and this solidarity, that is because of the common values, beliefs, helps in maintaining the social order. While Weber studied the major feature of the great world religion, he is interested in their historical roots and their capacity to guide and shape the economic activity. Weber studied the religion with respect to solidarity, with respect to the religion role, of the role played by the religion. In this society, that is specifically what a role has been played by the religion in uniting the people together, or in especially to maintain the social order, uniting the people together of a society. So he studied with a different perspective, while Weber studied the religion with respect to the economic activities, right? So he tried to find out how religion plays and how religion play and role in shaping up or guiding the economic activity, right? So these word religions are also social situations. Why their perspectives were different? Because of the prevailing social situations of that time, right? During the time of Durkheim, there was much chaos, right, in the society, and they wanted social proper social order in the society, so that it can maintain the peace and harmony in this society. So they have Durkheim has given much emphasis on the society rather than the individual. If individual has taken if individual overpowers this society, then it will create more chaos. So he has given much emphasis on the society, that there should be being between the people and institutions and keeping them together on solidarity, because in the social order, because of the prevention. It was uh, why about the reasons of this, according to him, he has a uh, uh, to shape a new way of thinking and acting, right? Durkheim basically is really as expression of the collective consciousness. If there is a collective consciousness, if people agree to something, that will maintain social order. So he has such consciousness. So you will that this is a collective consciousness or to the society, right? Worshipping the totem is nothing but worshipping the clan itself. Ideas cherished by the clan as a whole thus become a part of individual consciousness, right? So ideas, beliefs that was by the clan, right? That was cherished by the clan as a whole become a part of individual consciousness, and it will help in binding the people together. The separation between the sacred and profane of the word mediating through the certain rites, right? The participation of the whole clan in some important rites helps to bring a collective enthusiasm, linking individuals into social bonds and making them aware of awesome power of the society. Right? So according to him, that society is more important and religion plays an important role in the people of society together. People are binding together. There will be a social, there will be a collective conscience in maintaining a social order. Weber wishes to understand religion in relation to economic, political, and historical feature. So he tried to find out the role of religion in economics with respect to history and the politics. He sees as a major historical trends, namely the move towards capitalism, industrialization, and the rationality. So, according to religion plays an important role, right? Even in history, he has religion. He found that religion plays an important role in economic conditions and that the evidences that recognize religion mysterious with gods and the it is the power of the society, and there is also he deny mysterious or the mysterious or spirits or the god. We hold that the object of worship is transformed and represented through the certain symbolic object. Weber uses the idea of God and spirit. Weber is dealing with the religion which are relatively recent origin as compared to the tribal religion, because he studied the tribal. These religion expresses a certain personal qualities and displays a certain level of abstraction. When individual abstract, they engaged in symbolic activities. Right? These recent religion expresses the certain personal qualities and that displays a certain level of abstraction. And when the individual abstract from those religion and they engage in symbolic activities, because understand it, they interpret according to their needs and requirements, and they engage in this symbolic interaction. Right? While Durkheim argues that totem is symbol of the clan, it is a symbol of the clan, and Weber is an example why worshipped as a symbol is an animal that is killed and eaten. Right? Eating an animal the clan members believe themselves to be united because the spirit of animal enters in them. Right? They are united not merely by the totem as an emblem or a symbol, but they are united by sharing the substance of sacred animal, which is not merely flesh but the spirit. And Kim attaches a great importance to the prophets in propagating religious belief. So, according to the Durkheim, that society is worshipable, society is important, and he denied the concept of spirit, God, and everything else. While the Durkheim studied the tribal religion, right? While Weber emphasized on the God, prophets, spirits, and other things, right? According to Durkheim, society is important. According to Weber, a religion is an abstract, and when an individual abstract it, when the individual interpret it, he individual engage in the social interaction according to his understanding, right? And that is that him denies the concept of prophets and God. But Weber has emphasized, Weber has given much importance to the role of the prophet in propagating the religious beliefs. right? Okay. They are charismatic figures like Abraham, Jesus, Muhammad, who captures imagination and psychology. Picasso has he has given emphasis on the prophets. Religion and science that views both religion and science as providing society with a collective representation according to uh, this the science and religion an important role in collective consciousness of the society. The classification of society is those of a religion. The opposition between the two, according to Durkheim, there is no conflict, no opposition between the religion and science. Right? Weber comparative studies of world religion shows how religious ethics in India and China prevented growth of capitalism, which basically require an ethic of mastery of of rational calculations. So, because he studied the culture with respect to politics, with respect to economics, and with respect to into Weber studies that the religion in India and China ended growth of capitalism in in Hindu dharma, that is uh, earning more and more profit is not considered good, right? According to us, we should share the things, we should share it with our fellows, right? And it is and according to Weber, it is the Protestant ethics which provided the appropriate worldview of rational capitalism. So according to Weber, it is the religion which has roots of capitalism, right? Weber studied the various religion, and as per his studies, that Indian and Chinese religion prevented the growth of capitalism because it considered good in their religion, right? While the Protestant ethics emphasized on earning more and more profits, right? So, according to Weber, the root of capitalism rise in the root of capitalism in Protestant ethics, right? According to studies, the Protestant ethics states that it is God has sent you to the sent you on the earth with a purpose, and the purpose is to work hard and earn money and earn profit, and rather than spending that profit and earn more profit, and this cycle should go on. It is important to work hard and earn money as per Weber. This is the Protestant ethics. So according to him, it is because of the roots, it is because of these Protestant ethics, this has given rise to the capitalism in Western world. As per Weber, science is an expression of rationality and challenge to the traditional and mystical claims of the religion. As per the, there is no opposition, no contrast, no conflict in religion and science, but as per Weber, science is an expression of rationality. It expresses the rationality and it challenges the traditional and mystical claims of the religion. Science provides empirical knowledge of verifiable factual information, which helps human being to know and master the world, while science and religion view exist in contrast to each other, right? Or religion see religion according to Weber, there are certain challenges that the religion, there are mysterious claims of the religion and the science, that science challenges to those mystical claims, and science provides the empirical and the logical explanations of the verifiable facts, right? So there is there is a contrast between the science and the religion. Durkheim sees religion as means whereby individuals acknowledge the physical and the moral power of the society, and religion is a way of classifying and ordering concept, is thus the forerunner of the science. So, according to Durkheim, that religion acknowledges and moral power of the so acknowledges the power and the moral power of the society, right? And this religion is the forerunner of the science, according to Durkheim. Weber studies religion in terms of meanings for those who follow it, and how these meanings helps them to orient their action in other social activities. As is as he has given much emphasis on the individual and social interaction, so Weber studied the religion in terms of the meaning, right? Meaning for those who follow it, how they interpret the meaning, how they interpret their religions, how they interpret their what has been said, how they interpret the ethics, right, of their religion. So he studied Weber studied the religion in terms of the meaning for those who follow it, how they interpret the meaning, and by interpreting their meaning according as per their religion, um, how these meaning help in the orientation of the ends, how uh, right if someone is following some religion, then Weber studied that how that religion uh, plays a role in orientation action of an individual, how the religion impacts the action of the individual, right? So as that those who follows the religion, they interpret their religion, and this interpretation helps orientation of their actions in other social activities, how they, right? Arises a challenge to the religious ideas, driving out ghosts, spirits, and replacing them with empirical observation and factual information. As per Durkheim, science, religion is a forerunner of this science, and as per Marx, Weber, I'm sorry, as per Weber, that science challenges the religious ideas. It drives out the ghost, spirit, and replace these ideas with the empirical observation and the factual information. Right? So Emile Durkheim studied the primitive. While he studied the primitive religion, views the religion as an expression of collective avoids the concept of God, spirit, and prophets. Considering science as an extension of the religion sees no conflict between science. While Max Weber studied the world religion, recent religions, right, that views the religion in relation to the political, economical, and historical factors, make uses of these concepts and consider science and religion in contrast to each other. Okay, Durkheim and Marx. Marx, Marx views about the religion. Marx was, according to Marx, religion is an opium. This religion plays an important role in research. A religion is, according to Marx, a religion is responsibility of the working class, right? This religion, this is because of the religion, the working class suffers. because this religion creates a false consciousness among working class. And because of the religion, the working class is class in itself. When the working class will come out, when the working class will come out of all these will come out of this, the concept of the religion, and it will become a class for itself. So according to Marx, religion is an opium. Economy. Now discuss their views on the economy. Durkheim and Marx lived in the age in which Europe was experiencing the Industrial Revolution. Revolution was characterized by a shift of technique of production, right? Change took place not just in the economic sphere, right? Cities and their population grew, and so did the incidence of the poverty, crime, and other social problem. It was the era of industrial revolution, right? The era of Durkheim and Marx. They were in the age when they experienced industrial revolution, right? What is industrial revolution? Revolution means that they have observed that there is change in the shift of technique of production, right? There was a primitive society, then primitive society has given rise to slave society, then slave society has given rise to the that feudal society, and from the feudal society capitalistic society came up, right? In feudal society there was a master class and the working class. In the capitalistic society there is a capitalistic class and the worker class, right? They are big in the capitalistic society. There is a shift in terms of mode of production, right? This has given rise to shift in mode of production, right? And because of the shift in the mode of production, right, there is a change, not only in the economic sphere, but it has impacted the political and the social sphere, right? Because of this shift, those master class became the capitalist class, and they own of production. They have lands, they have and they started paying attention to the industries rather than to the agriculture. And because of development, or because of these industries move to the cities, right? And because of people from their background, from rural background to this city, it has given rise to the various types of social conditions. Like because there was a switching from a feudalistic society to the capitalistic society, it has given rise to the poverty. Because of the poverty, people have started moving to the cities in search of work. When people started moving from their rural background to the cities, it has given rise to this slum, and the concept of urbanization has given rise to this slum. The worker were forced to work for hours. There was no work life balance, right? And they were forced to live in the pathetic conditions in these slums. And this deteriorated health. The unlimited working hours and conditions in this slum impacted their health, right? And given rise to the poverty. And because of this poverty, because of the the much stress, various type of the crimes and other problems, social problems grew up, right? Social stability and order were under threat, right? The traditional feudal society and the modern industrial world was growing into being. And because of this industrialization, there was a division of labor, right? The concept of division of labor was systematically discussed by the Scottish economist Adam Smith. His work Wealth in Nations 1776. Smith felt that the division of labor was the prime source of economic progress. It was a vehicle through which economic development was. See, Durkheim's views on division of labor, Durkheim's major concern as a sociologist was the theme of social order and integration, because it was an era of chaos, right? So he emphasized much on the social order and the integration of the society. According to Durkheim, the focus of social integration differs in the pre-industrial and post-industrial society. He demonstrated how process of occupational specialization or division of labor helps to integrate the society where differentiation or complexities are to be found. So even in division of labor, he tried to find out how this division of labor helps to integrate the society where society is heterogeneous, right? Where society is differentiated or complex. So Durkheim classifies the human societies into those based on the mechanical solidarity and then the organic solidarity. He has divided the society into the simple society and the complex society. In simple society, according to Durkheim, there was a mechanical solidarity, and in this complex society, organic solidarity exists. What is mechanical solidarity? Mechanical solidarity refers to the solidarity of resemblance or likeness, where there are the likeness, where there is resemblance. That type of a society is simple society, and mechanical solidarity exists because of the likeness among the individuals society. There exists a great deal of homogeneity and tightly knit social bonds which serve to make the individual member with their society. It is because of their likeness, it is because of tightly social knit, they are united together. The collective consciousness is extremely strong in mechanical society, right? The strength of collective consciousness integrates such society, right? And it is because of the collective consciousness, it is because of their similar beliefs, values, and the thinking process that binds the people together. Okay, a violation of or deviation from these values is viewed very seriously. Deviate from those beliefs or violation from these are viewed that is viewed very seriously, and harsh or repressive punishment is given to the offender so that no one else can do so, right? So repressive type of punishment was there, it was a harsh, and the repressive type of a punishment was there. Individual division of labor is at relatively simple level because this individuals are more or less similar. Consciousness is merged with the collective consciousness. So in simple society, collective consciousness is much important than the individual consciousness, and individual consciousness is merged with the collective consciousness, and if one tries to move away from that collective consciousness or deviate from that collective consciousness, strict action type of an action punishment is given to mechanic solidarity that exists in this simple type of a society. Organic solidarity means that there is different complementarity to the differences, as in Because of the division of labor, people differ from each other, right? Their skill set, and because of their difference in the skill set, they are other, and because of this interdependence on each other, it has given solidarity, and that type of a solidarity is known as organic, right? There means a solidarity based on that. And complement to this, division of labor is the important aspect of such societies. A society based on organic solidarity is one where heterogeneity, differentiation, and variety exist. Society, the strength of collective consciousness lessens. It is not because of the interdependence that the strength of the collective consciousness goes on. The consciousness become much more important, become in social and individual autonomy, a certain part in the organic solidarity. Organic solidarity exists in the complex type of these societies. So he discussed the abnormal forms of division, that is enemy. These terms meet the state of normlessness. Material life changes rapidly, but rule, norms, and value, there seems to be a total breakdown of the rules and the norms because of change in the materialistic state of the society, right? In the work sphere, this reflects the conflict between the labor, management, degrading, and less work and class conflict. Individuals are working and producing but fail to see any meaning in right. There are the abnormal forms of the labors. There was an inequality, right? There can be very frustrating. This inequality could be very frustrating or rewarding jobs, but cannot equal long-lasting solidarity. Such an abnormal form result in individuals become frustrated and unhappy with their society. Inadequate organization in this abnormal form, the very purpose destroyed. Work is not well organized and meaningless task, and there is no unity of actions. Now, Marx views on division of labor is bound to exist in order that member of society peacefully that necessary to social economy. That is the complex system of divide useful for some individual like social division of labor when your skill set are different and you work according to skill, like few produces handicrafts, weapons, right? So this is a social division of labor according to Karl Marx, and this social division promotes the process of exchange of goods between the groups, while division of labor in industry or manufacture, so division of labor in industry or in manufacture. This industrial societies where capitalism and the factory system exist. In this process, the commodity is broken down into